Well, hello again, Kindred Spirits, and welcome to those who are new. In this episode, I'm going to show you how I'm finally preserving history of a lot of wallpapers that Ben found tucked in the eaves of our home. We're going to be sowing poppy seeds outside in the snow. I'm going to take you to 7 thrift stores, including Goodwill, that I went to over the week. I'm going to share 5 meals that I made this week. They're not recipes, just going to share what I did. Finally got a new dishwasher, nothing major. We're going to do some gardening updates and then some. I hope you enjoy. Since we last chatted last week, look how much has happened with my little indoor bulb garden. The hyacinth is ready to bloom. We already have a crocus, but just wait. Look what happened a few days later. I have a purple hyacinth open that smells amazing. The crocus is going by, but there's another one that's ready to bloom. Just going to be opening probably in a day or two. And then the pink hyacinth is getting ready to open. But let me show you something else. I've already have roots starting on the ivy that we trimmed last week. So I'll be able to replant this ivy inside and outside. Now all I did for this little garden, as you might have seen, they're still in the pots. I took my watering can every once in a while and just gave it a little drink. Not too wet, you don't want the bulbs to rot, but not too dry. You don't want them to dry out. And I couldn't wait to show you these little miniature tea roses that I found at the grocery store. As soon as I saw the color, I grabbed the last 2 pots that were there. These can be used inside and outside. So my goal is to keep these alive until I can plant them outside. Now, this is about a week ago, and some of them are have to deadhead a little bit, but these roses, all roses, are thirsty little beauties. They love to be watered. So I have these still in the pots that they came in at the grocery store. I take the pots out, and like I do for a lot of the plants here in the house, I put water in the tray and I let them soak it up from bottom to top, and they plump right back up again. But a couple of them do need a little trim, and I will probably show that next week or even midweek. I have a lot of little short videos that I'm going to start showing midweek, and we will get together a little bit more over the next few weeks. I thought I would share something that I wrote last month, inspired by an Instagram post that I created, and I put in the title, "I'm Not Wishing Winter Away." So I wrote this, and I hope you enjoy. I'm not wishing winter away, even though I look forward to welcoming the flowers, bees, and butterflies back to my gardens. I'm not wishing winter away. It's the time I'm able to slow down, rest my body and soul, rejuvenate, and prepare for the new year ahead of me. I'm not wishing winter away. It's the only time I see snow sparkle like diamonds in the sunlight and the moonlight. I'm not wishing winter away. It's a time when I see my breath while I exhale, reminding me to be grateful I'm alive and able to enjoy yet another day. I'm not wishing winter away. It's when I can see off to the distance and enjoy the views usually hidden by foliage. I'm not wishing winter away. Once the early darkness arrives, it's the perfect time to slip into cozy pajamas and relax without guilt. I'm not wishing winter away. It's like wishing for fewer days to be alive. I want to enjoy every moment of life. I'm not wishing winter away. I welcome it. It's kind of crazy when it reaches 33 degrees and it feels warm outside, but I'm outside right now trying to figure out where I'm going to throw my poppy seeds and my columbine, because I'm going to snow sow them. And one of the problems is I don't want to throw them where there's going to be bark mulch. I don't think I have any bark mulch in this front garden area. And since I'm trying to also plant by color, I know I have some of my pink and white peonies here. So I might sow the poppies here. And I don't know where else I might not have bark mulch, because I've been doing it for years. So if I had prepared, I would have pulled away some of the bark mulch and made some notes. but I have a feeling I'm just gonna have to do it here this year. And same with the columbine. I can snow sow those, and really it's just throwing the seeds on top, and the cold helps them germinate, and then they'll drop and they'll self-seed in the soil once the weather warms up. I could have even done it here, but I know I have a lot of tarping under there that I have to clean up, and that whole area is designated for the garden. Now, I'm going to show you something while I'm out here too. Check out what the blue jays have done to our house. Now, I'm going to show you out back too. It's worse. This is because they are calcium deprived right now. Our house was supposed to have been painted this past year. I would have been beside myself if they did that to a newly painted house. But let me show you out back what they did too. Ben and Willow are enjoying the sun and snow. Walking on pure ice right now, so I have to be careful. Ben doesn't know, I think I decided I'm taking over that red building for a herb drying shed once the barn's built.
That building?
Yeah.
I have my wood shack.
Oh, he says that now. He says that now. Not happening. That's the same famous words of my stepdaughter. Not happening. Wow, it is very slippery here. Willow, let's go show them what the blue jays did to the back of the house. Yeah, so the gator's in here, and I figured I need a really nice dry space for my herbs, but he might have plans for it. So thinking of also sowing the peonies. I really don't have any areas out here that don't have bark mulch on them also. So, and the columbine, which are purple. I could try to sow them around this patio. I don't think I have bark mulch there because I ended up pulling a lot up. I don't know. It's not like I have to sow the columbine, just that I found them in the basement. I forgot I collected the seeds. I also know there's not a lot of bark mulch here, but I'm hoping to dig up a lot of the bittersweet and some more lilies. It's so beautiful out. All right, let's walk over here. Let me show you what the blue jays did to this part of the house. So this is just a start. Underneath the windows here, they're lazy. They just stand and peck away at the wood. Let me show you the side of the house. And I've never had this happen before, I should also mention. Never ever. But look at this. All that paint has been pecked away and eaten. I'm looking at some of the trimming I have to do as well. I wanted to get to this lilac tree and trim the branch that is completely going over the stone wall here. It's putting a lot of weight on that side of the tree, and it's just not doing anything for us. I also want to come out and I need to trim the blueberry bushes really, really well this year and make a path to them. Those are overgrown, and I need to get them in control so that they will fruit better. With the garden beds, Ben suggested that we maybe connect 2 of the beds each, so that we would do longer wood outside here, and I would clean in the middle and kind of fill that with soil, so we have 1, 2, 3, maybe make that one. I'm going to keep the strawberry bed with the top. I think it has to be rebuilt, and then have the one in the back. This one that's completely broken, oh, this one's broken too, but the one in the back, that only has 1 asparagus that grows every year, just like 1 shoot. So I might remove that whole box and bring my table over here so it's all within this garden area. And like I mentioned in our last video, this is going to be kept here for 2025, and then once we finish the barn, this might be a cutting garden for flowers, might be dismantled, I don't know. And it's beautiful out here.
Well, I was just standing here. Oh no, her father went in without her. We'll go in a second, Will. Well, I was over here. Another spot that I may try sowing the poppies is here near the corner. I have the transplanted peony that I found under the lilacs 2 years ago that bloomed last year. I don't have a lot of wood chips, and the colors would be beautiful here once again with the other peonies. So I might sow them in this inner corner. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So I might go get the seeds, and maybe I'll do that right now. Put them in a little shaker and toss them out here.
I forgot to mention that I recently learned you can also use an ice cube technique. You get an ice cube tray or even the small silicone trays that you might use for candy. Put a little water and then put some poppy seeds in each tray once it's frozen. And then a little more water, freeze again, and then you bring them outside, and if you don't have snow, you put them on the soil and kind of tamp them down with your foot, and that cold ice should help them germinate as if you were doing it in snow. For those who've asked, I did create a Kindred Spirit travel mug, and it actually says in lighter print, I'm a New England Fine Living, Kindred Spirit. And thank you for those of you who already found it on our website and our store and ordered some. I'd love to know your thoughts. I've heard some great feedback, and I got mine just the other day. Here I'm dropping off some of my donations. This week I went to Goodwill and quite a few other locations to shop for garden items, summer items for our vacation, and just some other items that I might put on the shop. I'm not sure. I'm certainly on a hunt for a bucket to put soil in so I can work with my seeds. I'm going to do a lot of that in the kitchen, and I found this one for $4. And then I saw these little rattan plate holders. I think they were $4 or $3. Perfect for summer entertaining. Oh, look, a members only jacket. Too bad I'm no longer a member. But luckily, I still belong to the Talbot Society. I did grab this, the denim jacket, and a few other items. At another thrift shop, I spy this beautiful large basket. Now, this thrift shop is not open to the public. I've mentioned this one before. It's a private shop for residents and their family and employees where my mom lives. And the finds are amazing. I thought I was going to grab this plate, but then I noticed it had a very large crack in it. But I did buy the basket. On another day, another shop, I'm at Consignment Gallery in Bedford, and this carpet is so close to what I wanted for our bedroom, but it's way too small. And they're always getting new rugs. I had to go look at this desk. Look how tall it is. It's a tall schoolmaster's desk, and I'm like, where's the stool? Look, I found frickin' Frack's identical twins. Now I'm at the New Hampshire Antique Co-op in Milford, New Hampshire, one of my favorite antique stores close by, and I want to go see if Nathaniel is still there. Nathaniel is a painting. I named him Nathaniel. He just looks like a really nice gentleman, and I kept thinking I wanted to adopt him and bring him home, so I'm going to go see. That's not Nathaniel. And that's not Nathaniel. Here's Nathaniel. I have no idea what his real name is. And I really like the look of this. The frame was a bit ornate for me, and it's too big, I think, for our house, but maybe someday. And then I keep looking at this at another store. I don't have a place for it. I just like it. If I didn't have my table in the kitchen, I would probably use that by the sink. I keep looking at these two. Now, I should be the president of the CBA, China Buyers Anonymous. Ben told me I should form the organization. I might. And I thought these were sweet. I didn't get them, but I thought they'd be perfect in a kitchen or on a little patio or porch. And then this is something I love the color, but I want you to look at things closely when you're shopping. I didn't notice this the first time I saw it a couple weeks ago. That's a new top. It should have jumped right out at me, and it didn't. They added it, and it's fixed in a way that you can use it, but for the price, it's not something that I would have picked up because it's not complete.
This is one of my favorite stops when I come through Amherst, and unfortunately the temperature's dropped. It's raining, but it's sheer ice out here, so I'm gonna have to go slow with the driving. I just got my car back from being fixed. I don't need it broken again. And when I mean fixed, I was in a hit and run. Somebody hit me and took off, and I finally got it fixed, and yeah, I don't need to do any boo-boos on my car. Knock on fake wood. Is there any wood here? Maybe. Knock on fake wood.
A bit later in the week, I'm taking price tags off and looking at items and figuring what I want to keep and what will be sold. That plate on the table is actually different than the one you're going to see in my cabinet in the moment. But deciding is so hard. Like, I love these Haviland Limoges cups and saucers from France. 100 years old, and they're in beautiful condition. But I used one. It's my little dose of fine living. And check out this Victorian silver-plated tipping ice water pitcher, or for lemonade. And then check out this non-Victorian tipping plastic soil bucket. And then here's the basket that I'm using on my porch. Once I organize my tools and sharpen my tools, I'm going to be able to keep them in there in one place and hidden from sight. And during my cleaning and organizing, I'm finding things that I forgot I had from previous stores that I'm going to use, like this vintage toast holder and also cups and saucers that I had put away. I'm getting ready to make some chicken stock. I had a roasted chicken I made the other day. I just stripped it from the rest of its meat. And I wanted to show you, when I put the parsley in the other day, it was all wilty. It's very happy just sitting here in its water. So I'm just gonna cut off a couple stems of parsley and throw it in the stock pot, and I'm gonna go from there. I'm using vegetables that have almost got to their prime, and talk about almost to their prime. I purposely let this keep going. I thought it was fun because the onion was not doing well. Okay, let's plant this. Probably could. And I have the soil to do it. But anyways, yes, I'm gonna put some of the parsley in there, and I'm just going to set this off on a boil, and I'm gonna keep cleaning the kitchen. It's still Saturday morning. I'm still in my PJs, and I love doing some things like this. This is going to be a nice chicken soup tonight. Like I said, I'm just using up some things that have gone past their prime. Some carrot, I have some onion, I have some celery in here. I'm gonna put a little salt, and I'm just gonna let this boil and get a lot of the flavor.
and then I'll be able to make a stock out of it for chicken soup, and then I'll freeze some if there's any available. I might add a little more water. I got these little containers at Hobby Lobby when I was buying all of my other canisters.
I forgot to mention, I also
pepper
put
in
a
here.
splash of vinegar to pull out more nutrients. It really doesn't change the flavor, and it makes it healthier.
I'm just gonna bring this to a boil, then put it on a simmer. I forgot to put in a bay leaf, and I thought I didn't have any peppercorns, but I do. So I'm just gonna put a few black peppercorns in there. It's already getting a beautiful rich color. So I had some carrots in the fridge that I'm going to use in the soup, and they were fine to use as is, but they got dehydrated, so they're a bit bendy. So right now I'm just going to rehydrate them in some cold water. I'm just going to let them sit here for a couple hours. I will check back with them, and then I'll be able to peel them a little easier, and then these will go into the chicken soup. So several hours later, the carrots are nice and hard, and they're not bendy like they were. They just needed to be rehydrated. So now I'm going to get the peeler out. I'll be able to peel them a lot easier than when they were bendy. And I'm just gonna prep them and get them ready to go into the soup. The chicken stock tastes so good right now. Let me just show you that. I'm gonna walk over here. I turned it up just a little bit a while ago because I added a little more water. So I'm going to be shutting this off actually, and in a while I will strain it, and then I'm going to start the soup, and hopefully I'll have some extra stock to put in the freezer.
I didn't have any left over. We enjoyed this soup for about 3 days, having it for lunches, for dinners. It came out so good. Now, in no particular order, I also made a few more meals this week. I was on comfort food week. I made Italian meatballs with fresh herbs from our garden, or I should say dried herbs. And then I split the batch, and on another night I made Swedish meatballs for the first time. And there were several recipes. I took 3, combined them and made my own, and I think they came out really good. Another night I just made a simple chili, and then a boneless leg of lamb. Ben loves boneless leg of lamb. We make it for his birthday every year. His mother used to do that. And right here, I'm just inserting some garlic, and then I'm going to pat it dry, rub a little olive oil on it, some salt, pepper. And then once again, some rosemary from our garden. It smelled so good, and Ben loved it. I tried a little bit, still don't like lamb, but that's okay. I had chili. On this day, I am finally preserving history found in the eave of our home. I'm going to share an old video at the end, or a part of it, of when Ben first found these rolls of wallpaper in our house up in the eave, wrapped up in old laundry bags. And check out this phone number, 400. The mice really liked the paper, but this was a lot of fun. Some of them were marked Greenfield wallpaper, the ones that were wrapped up, and then some were marked Concord. And I thought it was Concord, New Hampshire, but you're going to see a little bit later. I did research, and I found out it was Concord, Mass. But I finally took the time and sat down with the rolls and cut out a piece each that fit into this plastic sleeve, and then I'm putting them in binders by which house. I'm going to make note the Concord house was from a previous owner, but some of them were so fragile I had to flip them over, tape them in order to cut them.
Okay, let's check out Queen Bess's ruff and the little jars and everything else there on the mantle. Same exact colorway. Oh my gosh.
Here are just a few more of the patterns, like this gorgeous Tebow wallpaper that says it was in a dining room. This wallpaper reminds me of the red wallpaper with deer that was in the pantry when we first bought the house, and that was probably a 1950s pantry.
I'm gonna watch my old video at one point because this says Concord wallpapers, plural. And that's why I have a feeling this was part of the Concord house. It's definitely a little more elevated look, such as the Tebow paper. The colors really blend nicely together. So I'm pretty sure either I'll see in the video that they all came out of this paper bag, which is a dry cleaner's bag for clothing, or I might have noted it somewhere. But yep, pretty sure that's Concord also. Whole different feeling, whole different look.
And now it's time to put in wallpaper that I used in the house. Even the front hall that I'm probably going to change, and I'm going to make note of that. Somewhere I do have a piece of the brown wallpaper that was in the front hall. I'm going to locate it. I'm going to put that in the binder. And as I just mentioned, the red wallpaper that was in the pantry when we bought the house, it had a very similar feel, and I do believe that that possibly could have been hung at the same time with the owners I'm going to tell you about very soon. To see all of the papers that we found in the eaves, at the end of the video, I'm going to put a snippet of an old video that I took that particular day.
I finally figured out who owned the wallpaper and where they lived. And I was on Ancestry.com last night. I don't use it for just our research. I use it to research homeowners also. For my house, I've done it for clients, and it really is a wealth of information when it comes to researching old homes. Now, I went down the rabbit hole. Not only did I find information about the family who had the wallpaper, I ended up finding some more information about some previous owners, and I just couldn't put it down. I'm like, this is a whole story. This is something, you know, it could be a book written about it. Probably only interest myself and Ben, but I found out that this wallpaper was from a family called the Rantouls, and they did in fact have a house in Concord, Mass, and it also looks like they had a house elsewhere in New Hampshire. So there has been some reference at the Historic Society and old notes referring to this as the country cottage, the vacation house. I have a feeling that this home started out as their little country cottage getaway. And it makes sense when you have all these beautiful little florals. And we have, looks like, I don't know, it looks like possibly some peonies. But I also love seeing that the colors here blend so nicely with what I've been doing here also, with the greens and the taupes. So we're all on the same wavelength here for this particular house. And sometimes when I say the house tells me what it likes,
I think it's true. You know, when you start decorating a home and something doesn't look right, but it did in another house, the house is just saying, nay, nay, it's, I want something different. And I've been learning what this house likes and doesn't like when it comes to window treatments, no window treatments, patterns, no patterns, and then of course my likes and dislikes. So it was fun learning that the Rantouls brought this wallpaper from their Concord house and stored it here, and also the wallpaper for the homes. And specifically, one thing I found, which I probably noted it on the other video, this was for, it says, master bedroom in Greenfield. Now this had a lot of small cut pieces. At first I thought it might have been the addition where we have our bedroom now because of all the windows. But in the 1950s, even up to 1960, when Mrs. Rantoul passed away, that addition wasn't there. So I'm not sure where this room was, unless it was where our guest bedroom is now. I do know they used to use the tavern as the bedroom, but over the years when people kept adding to the home, they would move the use of some of the rooms. So with all the cuttings that I saw, to me, as a wallpaperer, is cutting around windows. You know what? I'm now thinking I also know for a fact that the green room, the living room, was once used as a bedroom. I was told that story as well. And that could make sense too, because that has 3 windows. So, I liked finding that out too. Now, you think that was long-winded? You are lucky. With the power of editing, I saved you from my rambling story about some of the other owners and the fun facts I found out about them, and some of the mysteries that I wanted to solve. I figured you might have been bored with it, but I found it very interesting. But anyways, I have to put this in chronological order again because last night I was writing notes everywhere. I didn't set myself up with a notebook, and I love seeing here that this was known as third house on the left. No house number. That was in 1946. But doing research on a 1790 house can be a little tricky, but we're getting there. Now to organize these after I watch my video.
Well, it's finally happening. This dishwasher has been here since, I believe, 1999, 2000. And, oh, I just saw something. Wait a minute. We can't keep talking until yeah, there we go. So, as I was saying, today is a big day for this kitchen because even though we gutted it down to the walls, this dishwasher remained. Everything else is new. And the reason being is when I went to look at dishwashers, it was at a time where everything was still 6 months out, a year out. I couldn't see what I liked, blah, blah, blah. I decided to keep this old dishwasher and not replace it until it died. And it's on its last leg. I'm getting ready for the delivery. I'm in my 2-hour window now. They said between 3 and 5. The kitchen looks so knackered without the rug and without the baker's table. Wow. But I have some of the things from under the sink on the counters, and I just got back a while ago from grocery shopping. I still have a few things to put away, but I just thought I would share. It looks so barren in here. I ended up just scooting the table right there so they can get by. Right, Willow? You guarding the door? You want to go out, don't you? All the time. She just had her spa day today, so she looks a little different whenever she comes home. Come here. You look different. You got different ears today. Yeah. You're a good girl. When I was coming in from outside, I saw the box of denture cleaner, and I don't wear dentures yet, neither does Ben, but I was thinking, okay, the guys are gonna think one of us wears dentures, but I use this to clean my stoneware and ironstone. I have tried it on some of my plates. You know, sometimes they get yellowy around the edges. Sometimes it works well, other times it doesn't. I've used it to remove tea stains from inside teacups. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But that's why it's under our sink, because I use it to clean some of my antiques and my vintage items. Go figure. The installer said our dishwasher was the first appliance of the day that he didn't find mouse poop behind it. But one thing I did ask for, I had a lot of steel wool put in around the edges so that mice and critters wouldn't come up. It's a deterrent. So I thought that was pretty good. So we have gone, let's see here, has it been a year and a half? When did we get this in? I already forget. But no mouse poop, knock on wood. Gonna knock on wood. And yeah, steel wool. I had somebody else ask me that a while ago, and I think I got back to them, but that's one thing I like to do when I'm doing some construction or remodeling. It keeps things out.
I do not always start our washing machine and our dishwasher this early, but we had a day of things we were going to be doing, and I just wanted to get them done. But the dishwasher works excellent, and it's a GE if anybody's asking.
Well, I didn't plan ahead. I'm hoping I have some potting soil, and I didn't think I'd be able to get into the sugar shack, but I think I can. But I don't know if I can get in because I filled it, so I'll have to see. It's a mess in here, and I do have some trays down back, so I think I can get started. Well, I went to start filling some of these seed cells, and I noticed that at least this one had some mouse chewage, and yes, chewage is a word here. And I slid this box back, and let me tell you, I was waiting for something to scoot out. I still, you never know. I noticed in here that we had a little house, little mouse houses. Yep. So I am so glad when I picked these up, carried them out of the shed, that a mouse didn't jump out at me. I'm assuming there's nobody in there. I think we would know. So yeah, I don't think I'll be using this one for seeds. The others were fine. Well, until I see you next, I'm going to be putting up some of the Valentine's Day decorations I made in the past. Some of the hearts I did with wallpaper in a video, and I have my paper chain of hearts. And then when I was out the other day, I picked up this cute little guy that was made by a local artisan. Isn't he sweet? He's probably going to be here in the kitchen with me. And then I'm pulling out the rest of these plates. This is a pattern called Husk. It is a, let's see here, I'm sorry, this is Wedgwood, but it was done for Williamsburg. These are vintage pieces. So I'm going to get the rest out, and I'll probably do a little pretty Valentine's Day table for Ben and myself. And yeah, go from there. Bye now. Bye-bye.
Before I get going with this video, I want to apologize for the audio, but I wanted to do a filming of opening up this wallpaper that Ben found in the attic, and it was impromptu. I just set up my camera, I have no microphone on, and without the kitchen being full, it's kind of echoey, but I thought you would have fun opening these with me. And then we're going to do a little house tour. I'm going to show you some things that we're doing around the house. So it's a little more casual filming than you're used to. But once again, I thought it would be fun for you to do this with me. If you are new to the channel, welcome. And if you've been following along but you haven't subscribed yet, I would love for you to do so. It does help my channel out. I'm Linda Smith Davis, and you're watching New England Fine Living, a place where I hope to inspire others to find their own version of fine living, no matter how simple or grand that may be, no matter where they live. We have these things that we found in the attic. Actually, not attic. We have some crawl spaces. One says shades for north window, Greenfield kitchen. Now, we only have one window in the kitchen, so this was definitely before things were changed here. This mentions Greenfield wallpaper. This one says Concord wallpaper. I don't know if that's Concord, Mass or Concord, New Hampshire. And then this is one that Ben pulled out because we were just trying to figure out what was in them. So I figured I would tape this while I open it so that we'll see it together. I'm a little excited. And there is definitely a lot of damage here from mice and some chewage that went on. Probably, I hope I don't find a mouse in here that's dead, but let's take a peek at what's inside. I'm gonna start with the Kindred wallpaper. Should probably get some of those. Oh, don't need scissors. I just hope nothing runs out on me. Oh. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this was wrapped in a cleaning bag. You can see when People's Laundry and Cleaners was open in Milford, New Hampshire. I'm gonna save that little writing. But I'm kind of excited to see what these look like. I'm gonna move this camera back a little bit so we can get a better view. All right, let's see. Let's move these out of the way. Drum roll. What are we gonna have here? Oh, it's like Queen Anne's lace. That's very pretty. And it has a little pearlescent to it. Do you see that? And these were made in the USA. Pretty color. And you can tell these were handmade. It's raised. The paint was put on there. All right, so that's the first one. We have a lot to go through here. Ooh, this says dining room. What was in the dining room? Oh, look at that. Wow. So somewhere, oh, this is Tebow, New York. I could tell it was Tebow. That is beautiful. Can you see the dog, the lamb? Oh, I really like this one. This is the type you trim. But, oh, and there's, let me see, Lily of the Valley. This is beautiful. Well, I think it is at least. The blue is absolutely stunning. Wow. It'll be fun to find out when these were purchased, if I can. I really like that one. Does this say anything? This says nothing on it. Oh, look at this. It's almost like a gray taupe, brown, white colors. Wow. And let's see if it says who this is. Guaranteed washable. That's amazing, it's washable. Glencraft wallpaper. All right. Let me know if you have a favorite when they're opened up. So we have, oh, looks like we have more of this one. All right. Hey, if you have wallpaper you're trying to match and I open it up, let me know. I'm certainly not going to dispose of these. I'll probably put them back up in the crawl space. This is pretty with daisies, pinks and yellows. There's some wheat in there. Very pretty cornflower blue, I'd say. And this is Water Fast Burge. It's called High Noon.
Albert Richard, designed by Albert Richard. Is this the same? Yeah, this is the same. Okay, so once again, these are the Concord wallpapers. And, oh, this has some metallic here too, but the animals remind me a little bit of what's in the pantry. Let's see if it says who this is by. Imperial Glencraft. Conforms to U.S. Department of Commerce. Made in USA. Okay, so those are the Concord wallpapers. Let's check out what Greenfield is. And there is no wallpaper in this house now except for the front hall and the butler's pantry, but I think this precedes one or two, definitely maybe the owners of the one in the hallway. Maybe we'll find the hallway one in here. And I'll be able to answer some questions of who makes it. Oh my goodness. All right. Oh, we have some imitation grass cloth here. There's some little gold metallic pattern. United wallpaper. Pretty. All right. It looks like there's going to be quite a bit of that same one. Oh wow. So this kind of has it's a greeny gold with 2 tones of blue. Thomas Strawn and Company. Oh, this is a different texture. Similar feel to the one that looked like grass cloth, but different pattern. So they obviously liked blue. Oh, there's quite a bit of this. There's absolutely enough. So that's good. If I ever wanted to use this, I have enough to do a small space. This one. Oh, add more to that. Oh, maybe I'm not going to get excited. Oh, what do we have here? We have some lilacs. Let's see if it says who this is by. Not on this one. I guess this is the same since it was wrapped. These are all small pieces. Trying to see if I can find a maker. Run number 4. So far, that deep blue is my favorite from Concord. Yeah. Oh, this one has a little more green to it, I think. More of this one. I wonder what room this was in. Oh, nothing as exciting as I was hoping. Oh, look at the colors in this one. Let's see, it's doubled up. These are all little pieces. Ooh. That has some pretty colors to it. Once again, maybe a bedroom? Figure out who the maker is. Nope. Can't figure it out. So, I'm gonna say my favorite that's mentioned for dining room is that. I wish there was more of this. But that's fun.